Let's talk about leadership, and in particular, what it looks like, what it means when someone steps up, especially into their first leadership role. There's a real change that needs to happen, a transition that needs to happen, and sometimes that's not always smooth for different reasons. And a lot of that can be around how well we've prepared that person to step up into that leadership role. And something that we've most likely all seen is that when someone is technically good at something, they are kicking goals, they're achieving lots of things, and then on the back of that, they are then promoted into a leadership role. They now have direct reports, but once upon a time they simply just looked after themselves when they were in that technical role, working in their expertise. Now they've got this added element of people that report to them. And sometimes you will see people start to struggle. They're not achieving things. Their whole demeanour, the way they operate, has changed. And it's quite ironic that I'm recording this after watching the final episode of Nemesis about the toing and froing of leadership within the Liberal Party. And I think there are elements of that there too, where you've seen people get into that prime ministerial role and there are certain behaviours that maybe they didn't demonstrate before, but now they are. But that can happen to all of us. We can all do that. And I actually, if I'm really honest, I think there have been times when I stepped into leadership roles, either acting or permanently, and there may have been an element of, I'm your leader, I'm the boss, you do what I tell you to do. Doesn't always work. You may get kickback on that, or people just comply and go along with you, which is really not what you want. But this is what can happen in that stepping up into that first leadership role in particular. Where we spend our time, the skill set that we need, what we value, it changes. So, and when I say what we value, that's about the things that we know that we should be working on, where we should be putting our time, but also in how we operate with our team. What are the things that are important to help our team achieve, our individual team members achieve, that reaches our end goal? What are those things? And if we don't know what they are, then we are going to struggle. We're going to, possibly fail. And it's difficult. And no one said leadership's easy. I know, especially one of the first times I stepped into leadership, the textbooks say one thing, but in reality it's a whole different ball game. And all the emotions are involved in that as well. And it is easy just to go to the limbic part of our brain, which can be pretty easy, and just do what we know. What's the quickest resolution to this matter? And it's not always the best one. The other thing that I sort of want to raise around this is that we're seeing more and more law coming in, which is in some respects wanting to force leaders to do certain things. So now, at the moment, most recently is this the laws around allowing employees to disconnect from work. And there's also this talk of punishment that can come with that if you do not allow your employees to disconnect from work. We've got the legislation around psychosocial risks within the workplace, and in reality, a lot of that stuff wasn't new anyway. That had already been laws around those sorts of things. What is key here is that, as really effective leaders, they just do this stuff because they know it's important. They're not doing it so that they won't get in trouble and they won't be punished and, God forbid, go to jail. They're doing it because they care about their people. Because at the end of it, you achieve through your team members, your employees. And there are significant ways that you can have that happen without having to use a stick, even sometimes a carrot. It's because you've put the work in at the front end. You've built the relationships with team members so that they want to go the extra mile for you. And that does mean maybe they will take a call outside of hours sometimes, but it also means that you respect that they need that downtime to recover and relax so that when they are at work, they're at their best. So I guess that is a challenge for all of us to think about. When we are in that leadership role, how are we operating? Are we operating in such a way that the message we are giving to our team members is that I care about you, I care about your role and the role that you play and how you contribute, or are you doing something else? Are you using that command and control, which is so easy to slip into? But like I said earlier, you're only going to get reluctant compliance, and sooner or later that will have a consequence. So maybe think about that. There's a saying that I picked up from a colleague that I used to work with, and it's that you don't have to love your people, you don't even have to like them, but you do have to have care and concern for them. That is how you achieve. So that's the thought, some reflection for you on the sort of leader that you want to be, who doesn't have to worry about what the law is saying because you are doing it naturally.